The finalists for the 2025 Heisman Trophy Award have been announced. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia, Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin, and Notre Dame running back Jeremiyah Love. They will be the honorees for Saturday night's Heisman Trophy Award ceremony. 8 o'clock will be the time. It will be the 80th Heisman Trophy Award ceremony. So certainly the good of the good, the best of the best, and the greats of the greats certainly will have all eyes on these guys. It's just hard this year to pick out who is the most outstanding player in college football when all of those guys were on good teams. All of those guys could have been on playoff teams, and all of those guys were the best player outside of Julian Sayin on their team, but he did his part to never put Ohio State in a bad position.
It's tough, again, because the numbers just don't blow you away. Like at quarterback, Finn, no apologies, but I want a guy that's throwing for 4,000 yards and running the ball, and that's kind of what we had seen over the years.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe I look at these guys and I go, whatever. Julian Sayin, out of the four, he would get my fourth place vote only because he's not the best player on his own team.
Right.
I'm not sure he's the second best player on his own team because they got studs at Ohio State. The most important to me is Diego Pavia. The guy that's the MVP of the best team in college is Fernando Mendoza. And maybe the one with the most highlights of anybody is Jeremiyah Love. So do with that what you want.
Yeah, I think part of the thing is you're so used to seeing guys like Lamar Jackson and
Caleb Williams
flying around and doing all kinds of crazy stuff athletically and making plays and throws and still being able to be a pocket quarterback, but also having that other aspect of your game where you can be an athlete, get out there and help your team win by scoring 10, 15 touchdowns on the ground as well. We just didn't have that. I guess you could say it's very vanilla this year when you talk about what's going on with the Heisman guys. The teams are a little bit different outside of Ohio State, right? Different players, different systems, different schemes, and I think it's good. I think it's good for college football. I think it'll be interesting to see who they end up going with. I think to your point, Vandy, first 10-win season in school history, records with passing yards and touchdowns, and carried his team both offensively, throwing the football and running it. Yep. I mean, he put them on his back multiple times.
Jeremiyah Love, the more explosive because of the running back position. So when you're talking about, the wow moments, the big yards, finishing off teams and putting up big stats as a running back, it's become, a quarterback award, much like the NFL's MVP award. But when you talk about a workhorse, a guy who was running hard last year too, and now he comes back and does it again, he certainly would be worthy as well.
Yeah, I wonder, and this is probably not the best way to look at the award, if you pull one of these guys off their team, what's the record without him? Pavia's not on that team. They're probably 6-6 at best.
Is that what the Heisman's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be the best player in college football, but for most of its existence, has been the best quarterback in college. Usually the best quarterback on the best team in college football.
Which would be Mendoza to a degree at this point, right? Now, I did see somewhere where Vanderbilt's never had a top 5 finisher in the Heisman. Did you? I mean, I guess that's not surprising, but
it's not surprising.
I mean, I just did not know that. But to your point,
Smoking Jay Cutler was not a top 5 finisher.
Shocker, right?
No.
So, it's just in comparison to what we have seen in years past, we're not looking at the same sort of grouping of finalists.
Tim Tebow, who's going to join Nick and Chris today, coming up at noon, when he won the Heisman, he had 3,286 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, but I think he also accounted for 18 touchdowns on the ground.
Total domination.
Yeah. So, and that's going all the way back to 2007. It'll be awesome to see, honestly, seeing guys from programs you don't normally see up here. Last year's winner comes from Colorado. Colorado hadn't had a Heisman since Rashaan Salam back in 1994. If Vandy gets it, it'll be the first time ever. If Indiana gets it, would that be the first ever Indiana Heisman Trophy winner?
Have to be. They were the worst program in the history of football.
It'd probably have to be, wouldn't it? They had a running back in the 80s. I think Anthony Thompson finished inside the top 5. But I'm almost positive Indiana's never had a Heisman winner.
Well, you have a situation where anybody could win it, and nobody is in a position where they can say, well, I deserved it and he didn't, or it was so close. I got the raw end of a deal. So it's one of those deals. We start thinking about Indiana, kind of like the Vanderbilt conversation. How many times do you have a player at that that school having that opportunity. I mean, when I think of Indiana, I can only think of one or two players. Antoine Randall is the only Indiana player I can think of in the last ever that made a national splash. So when you have a quarterback like that, he went up against another Heisman Trophy finalist. He beat him, and he was hurt in the game on the first play. Comes back in. I'm leaning into that. Fernando Mendoza might have the upper leg, but we'll see how it goes Saturday night at 8:00.
It is fun to not have a runaway to a degree. Like none of us have any idea really what one of these four is going to come out, and that's different than we've had in the past. So there's that.